welcome to the election night coverage of WCAT. My name is Bill Carroll. I'll be moderating, or in this case, hosting the coverage this evening. We have some returning panel members this evening. On my right, former town council, Ann Santos. Good evening, Ann.
Good evening, Bill.
On my left, Teray Howell, eminent member of the Finance Committee, and we've brought back
by popular demand.
By popular demand, Anthony Guardia, correct, you know. We're light on contested elections tonight, so we've brought Anthony here to cause some trouble. All right.
That's the plan.
Yeah, all right. Let me just first point out to everyone the ballot this evening. We've got three contested races tonight. Town Council, Maureen Butt, the incumbent, Ed Dombrowski, the incumbent, and a challenger, Christopher Carino. On school committee, 3 for 2 spots, Kevin Piscadlo, an incumbent, and Peter Davis and Alex Marakowicz. I did better during the debate pronouncing it, but she was here to help me. And also for constable, we have 2 candidates for 1 3-year term, and it's Lisa Butler and Peter Vitale. The other uncontested, which we'll get out of the way, Betsy Sheeran will return as the town clerk, always a plus for Wakefield. Board of Assessors, David Ladon is back on. Jack Warchel is back on, a Municipal Gas and Light Commissioner. The Board of Health is, they put over Candace Linehan, the sample sheet is over her name. Planning Board, Kevin York gets a 5-year term. And the 3 library trustees are Laura Goodwin, Adam Rogers, and Susan Wetmore. I was going to say, pretty interesting this time. Not as many contested races, but 2 hot contests here. I don't know much about the constable race, and that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Ann, your thoughts on the town council race?
I think it's hard for someone new to pierce the veil of incumbents who have been doing a pretty good job. And what I like about the 2 incumbents is they come from different sides of arguments and issues often.
What Dan's trying to say is Maureen's a progressive Democrat and Ed is a moderate Republican.
Well, my point is...
Which is refreshing these days. Okay.
Very refreshing, and have respect and work together to get things accomplished. Listen to each other's arguments, can be swayed at times. I served with both of them, so I know that. They're very hardworking. So I think it is hard for anyone new to jump into that race. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I agree with that point. Both of them are open-minded. They don't dig their heels in on issues. I've just noticed that over time that happens. Let's get a quick report on the FinCom. What's going on here? Okay, you're kind of responsible for that. We'll get Sherman's opus magnus at town meeting, but what is going on right now with FinCom?
Well,
we got you here.
Obviously, the major focus is whether there's going to be prudent expenditures, in the upcoming fiscal year for the town. There's going to be a lot of spending with the Voc and the new high school. So that's on everyone's mind. And I think that when I was, tracking the candidates, it's very clear that that's what voters are sharing with them as well. So it's just, something that we have to pay attention to, the spending rate and just prudent use of the town's funds.
What were the big issues this year in particular?
Big issues? I actually thought
any department that you wouldn't think raised a hubbub? That's always cool.
Like the ARPA funds for, I think there's a new position at that the town council is proposing with respect to an economic development position. That surprised me. That was a big debate. And obviously this is all public and on YouTube. I actually thought there was going to be more of a debate over the high school, but it kind of sort of coasted through FinCom. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. But I think we have really good discourse among the group. We respect each other. People have different perspectives, but we will, consider people's positions and make the right decision.
Mr. Guardia, Attorney Guardia.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
No, good.
Four
Well,
lawyers, okay.
yeah, no, thank you for
I was
having me.
going to say, that's
Four of
it.
us.
Thank you. I do
All,
want to.
some diversity, but mostly lawyers.
I do want to apologize if you see me looking at my phone. I just have hopefully results coming in as we speak, but I'm excited to be here, and I do think it's interesting when you have usually right. The theory is if you don't have a lot of people running, it means that people are happy with the status quo per se, right? Because you just don't have that surge of change of people saying this isn't right. However, I do think there are a variety of issues, and I do think it's interesting, at least for maybe myself, Bill, and you're relatively recently getting involved, but it wasn't that long ago when the overrides were failing 70 and 30%. It wasn't that long ago when the idea of, again, knock on wood, we'll see what happens tonight, but an openly gay man could top the ticket. A devout, practicing liberal Muslim woman may top the ticket. And that doesn't, I'm not taking away from Chris Carino, but I'm just saying that is a long way from not long ago when it was not nearly as diverse. And those ideas, I mean, we're talking days when Richard Tassay, the state senator would not even come out as gay because of what the political ramifications would have been in his district, in his hometown. So I think no matter what happens, there's a lot to be proud of in Wakefield tonight.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think the overrides. I was thinking this with with the large crowd we had at the high school for the town, special town meeting.
Yeah.
I think the success of the Galvin, following, it's not that long ago. I think how the Galvin came about, and how, the building itself and what's happened there. I think that played a role in okay, now we're going to take on a project now, the high school, and look, we did a really great job there. I mean,
Right.
from the building committee to the who oversaw it, the bond issue, because now we have the bond rating. Nobody said Mayo yet, and we're 5 minutes into the program.
Bond.
Yeah, hey, and so I really think that had a lot to do with it. In other words,
Some momentum.
The whole fear of the Galvin being a boondoggle it turned out to be fantastic.
Right.
Absolutely.
And what I also think that goes hand in hand with what you're saying. I'm supposed to be the host in here, and I'm talking too much, but I think that the influx of people, which some people are not comfortable with, I think that has shown the value. I think we're skewing for a younger crowd or younger generation of parents, the importance of education.
Can I just jump in there? Because I'd love to hear your take as well. I don't know, because I hear this comment that there's an influx of new people coming to Wakefield. I don't know how true that is in the sense of the population itself hasn't grown significantly. But what's happening is, and I'll use myself as an example, my wife and I, we bought a house from an older couple that decided to scale down, move to another place. My best friends, all who went from Wakefield High, bought homes, and guess from older couples, and they're all younger and have children, and all you're seeing is just a generational shift. This argument that, all these outsiders are coming in who couldn't afford it. I haven't met a lot of people. Most of the people I know in Wakefield
Or
I didn't say
from
Wakefield.
Wakefield.
I didn't
Yes,
say outsiders. I
absolutely.
said new generation.
New generation,
they're
yeah.
in
See, what happens is this. I don't know. Is people die.
I asked for your
people,
opinion, though.
People
Yes,
die.
I'm jumping
People
in.
die because I
This
just
is what
thought
he
about
does.
this.
Yes.
This comes up a lot. This is
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. You're right. It's a new generation. It's not like and guess what? Somebody's got to buy the house because they
Yeah.
died, and they're there, and so that's where the thing about education, and I think, but that they bring to it the sensibility that you were talking about.
We've also
Okay.
learned our lesson because for those of us who grew up in Wakefield, Anthony and I went to the schools. We know how bad the Galvin was, and the attempts to build a new school when it would have been cheaper, would have been easier to do so, got crushed.
Well,
Yep.
true.
And at some
Absolutely.
point, I think people realized can't keep doing this.
Yep.
Can't keep doing the same thing and saying we're not going to improve these buildings, and you're ending up with a much bigger
Does that mean we get that parking garage now?
Yeah.
the
It'll
free
cost a lot more.
For
cost more
downtown,
than
right?
free?
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Yes,
Yeah.
the parking garage will be
Yeah.
more than free right now.
Yeah,
Well-
you want to raise.
Yeah, I wanted your opinion now.
I mean, obviously, I was one of those new residents. I moved here in 2016 from Melrose. So I do think there is because
all the way from Melbourne.
yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Whoa,
really,
yeah.
I think what's happening with a lot of folks is as there's more development getting further outside of the city, and also we have the commuter rail system. People are considering towns like Wakefield, and that's what did it for us. I'm not originally from Massachusetts, so I knew nothing about Wakefield other than the fact that it was next to my town before. But I've grown to love the town. I do think that I agree. Most people I meet in Wakefield are from Wakefield. They're born and bred here. I don't consider myself, obviously I'm not a native, but my son,
Yeah.
I to remind myself, my son is going to be a Wakefield native.
Yeah.
This is his first home. And so that is why getting involved is important for me and my wife. And that's why, making sure that the school system and the high school is nice. It's important for us as well.
Yeah, and it's that argument I chuckle whenever like all these newcomers and I'm like, am I
see them.
missing? Yeah, everybody I talked to grew up and and it's kind of it's similar throughout the North Shore. It's not a Wakefield thing.
Yeah.
But, you hear the joke. They call it like the cult of Greater Boston because it's like you don't leave. So if you grew up in Melrose, you stay in Melrose.
Turn your
Wakefield.
microphone on.
Oh, come on.
We're
has
more
nobody-
relaxed. We're more relaxed this
Has
evening.
nobody
The control
heard
room just
all
said, "We're
the
gonna
great
switch
things
over
I've
to
said."
somebody else when Anthony stops talking.
But also,
yeah,
why is it
I
a
know.
bad thing that we attract
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
people
shouldn't
from
be.
outside of Wakefield?
No, people want to move here, right?
Yes, they want to move here because of,
And
The lake. I'm kidding.
because we're not. There are other towns around us that have perhaps stronger personalities, or who might not be
Yeah,
as
that's
friendly,
true.
or who
Absolutely.
are keeping up the Joneses much more than we are. I think we still have
Wakefield's
a
very
reputation.
humble.
It's very humble.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, we got in.
No, do we have
got some
results
results?
Already.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, no,
All
we're
right,
not going.
they're
We're
ready.
not going yet. We're not going yet.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to Kevin. We'll bring him up. We're going to.
well, the other who are we bringing up?
Yeah,
Who do we have? Kevin York.
Kevin York. Don't we have Kevin York somewhere?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
right.
Kevin, come on up. So what we're going to do
You can
is.
tell it's a very professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Wait,
Unlike
thank
the
you for
other
waiting
shows, we
patiently.
got numbers coming, we got people coming, so I'm just talking to the control room. Kevin, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing
Good,
well.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How was your campaign?
Really tough.
Yeah.
I was really sweating out.
First question I always ask, it's a softball right down the middle. Why?
Why planning board?
Why run?
So, I have been wanting to get more involved in town, and I have already started to. I serve on the bylaw review committee with Ann, and for me, really, what Therese said earlier resonates with me. Where my kids were both born here in Wakefield, they're going to grow up here. My wife and I are going to be here for a long time. We just put an addition on our house, so we're stuck here for a
Locked in.
while. But that was a choice that we made instead of looking around and moving to another town. So I've really wanted to get involved. And as far as planning board, I really am passionate about the direction that the town is going, the vision that we have as a town, how we can grow. Planning board feels like a good way to play a part in that and make sure that we are growing in a way that's, getting back to the conversation you all were just having, in an inclusive way, in a welcoming way, so that it is affordable for people of all different backgrounds to live here, from young people to new parents to our senior citizens, to make sure that there's a place for everyone, and planning board feels like a good way to play a part in that.
Can you pull that up a little closer? Thanks. Just, yeah. As I said, it's on the fly here. Even though you didn't have to run a campaign, you're unopposed. Anything interesting? Any feedback for your candidacy that you got from people that you don't necessarily know?
Really, just the support of a lot of people. When I went around to get the signatures, I would say for the most part, everyone was really supportive at just the urge to get involved, and they really appreciated that, the willingness to give back to town. So that I guess surprised me a little bit, how willing people were to just sign your papers and get involved and talk to you and hear. Because at the time I didn't know that I would be unopposed. Just what you're thinking. Back to your question,
yeah,
Bill.
that's true.
Why do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kevin, can I jump in or?
Yeah, no, you can jump in.
No, so planning board's a 5-year term, so it's a long time. I know. I think all of us we've heard the concerns about condominiums, rental properties going up around town. What's the planning board thinking coming forward in the next 5 years? What should people be worried about, or not worried about, or feel good about?
I don't know what the planning board thinking is yet, since I haven't officially joined.
True.
But
Well said.
I can give,
Well
I can
said.
give
I
you.
was going to help you out and point that out, but you get sworn in tomorrow. When's your first meeting?
Yeah, May 9th, I believe.
There you
is the
go.
first
We'll
one.
bone up on it because, Anthony's going to be monitoring that.
Look, guys, we have time. We have to kill time. What do you want to do? Just sit here and.
Okay, let him answer.
So my perspective is, there's a housing shortage that we're facing throughout the
True,
state, and that's
true.
being felt here. So I feel like we need to do our part to, meet that challenge here in Wakefield. And again, making sure there are housing types available for people of all different backgrounds and economic levels, whether it's single-family homes, or it's condominiums, or it's apartments, or multifamily homes, making sure that there are options for all types of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're rolling in the unopposed too, so
Yeah.
we're kicking you out. But yeah, how'd it go? And good luck.
Yeah.
No,
Good
good
luck.
luck.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
tough board, and I hope you get more votes than Bill Carroll.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Tight race.
Well, yeah. I'll get the usual Jerry Garcia write-ins. Thank you.
No,
All
thank
right.
you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
All right. Yeah, no, let's go with, should we go with, here we are. So here's the results, huh? All right, town council results. They're up on the screen. There we go. Ed Dombrowski, 1,940. Maureen Butt, 1,414. And Chris Carino, 830. So the incumbents return to office. We'll get to more of a discussion on that in a little while. We got some of the more unopposed folks. Who do we have back there? Somebody tell me in my ear. Now helping out here. What candidates are out there, the unopposed, that have won? Or have, yeah. Come on up.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, I can't see the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're a welcoming bunch. Good evening. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
You
Hi.
doing?
And you are? Since nobody told me. Yeah.
I am Candace Linehan.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Yeah,
Jeez.
see, they cut off your name there on the sample thing.
I recognized it from FinCom, so I knew exactly.
I have
Oh,
presented
well,
myself.
Yeah,
I
so
knew the
I
whole
knew
time.
exactly.
Yeah,
I was like,
the whole
okay.
time.
Well, by the way, I got a lot of help here.
Yeah, I see
well,
that.
I should have said
congratulations.
something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
First question I always ask on this show is why?
Great question. So this is my second term, and I was appointed in 2019.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
If
right.
you,
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if you guys remember that in like 2020, like things kind of.
Yeah.
There's something.
There was a
happened.
bit of, so that was of course unexpected. But my training is in healthcare. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and my training also is in public health. So this was an opportunity to really access that public health training. And of course, I do have young children here, and so being involved in this town, helping it be a town where I'm happy to be, happy to have them be, and also a role model for them.
What are the significant public health sort of issues or focus points that you think that we have to focus on going forward in Wakefield?
Great question. So now that we are sort of not totally finished with COVID, but kind of moving a
Almost,
little
yeah.
bit beyond it,
Yeah.
we're focusing more on our partnership with Stoneham, which I think is going to be great. Our three towns joining together to share best practices. We're getting refocused on food and restaurant safety.
Yeah.
So that's been great. It's been a learning experience for me, but it's been wonderful to work with our local eating establishments and help maintain safety for the food and for the employees that work there. We're looking at our tobacco regulations, and so I look forward to doing more of that. The boring stuff, the not glamorous
Yeah.
stuff, like to
Right.
actually looking at some of the meat and potatoes of public health.
Absolutely.
What restaurants do you not go to?
I can't say.
Trying to get her in trouble, man.
Okay, that's okay, great. That's, all right.
This is why, by
If they're
popular
open,
demand,
they've
they
been
wanted me back.
inspected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though you didn't have to campaign, what some interesting feedback you got this time around?
It was definitely different. Campaigning is probably the hardest thing for me. I think this may be similar for other people that work in public health. You know, we're more sort of accustomed to just doing the work of public health and not really talking about it. So that was a shift. And I did some of that, but not really much because in 2020 things were so limited. So this year, I think one of the things that was wonderful was being, I felt really held, you know, by the community. I felt supported. Not that that was surprising, but it was just, it was a wonderful kind of like feeling. And
Yeah, okay, I'll take the results. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
talking to
go.
the control room there. So, all right, we're gonna move along here.
thanks for having
you
me.
Won. You won.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
appreciate it.
Naomi got more votes than Bill Carroll.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there you go.
But thank you.
Good
He
luck.
always
Yes,
does.
have a
He
great
always
Congrats.
does that.
Yep, take care, guys.
All right, who do we have next?
This woman.
Okay, Laura Godwin, come on down. All right.
Hi there.
Hey, Laura.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Laura.
me.
How you doing?
Unopposed.
Unopposed, yes. Library trustee.
Library trustee.
But you really hope you got more votes than Adam and Susan. Come on, admit it.
No, I don't. I enjoy working with Adam and Susan. So Adam and I actually were both appointed at the same time, September 2019.
Okay.
So a similar experience in terms of being appointed in late 2019 and then having my first election be March 2020, but that didn't happen until June. So
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
this has been, the big part here was just getting the signatures to get on the ballot. And then
Absolutely.
Why library trustee?
I worked in public libraries through high school and college,
Oh,
and my
okay.
entire professional career has been in publishing, both textbook publishing, academic publishing, professional publishing. So, I love reading. I also, here in Wakefield, I've been in Wakefield 20 plus years, and I think the library, along with Lakewood and Powell, are just like gems in our
Library is
community.
unbelievable, isn't
I was
it?
about to
It's
ask
just
that
great.
question. What's
Yeah.
the gym?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really is
library
just.
That was the exact
fantastic.
word I was
It's
going to
just-
use. What's the gym
yeah.
of the library? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something for everyone. This is an exciting year for us with the centennial celebration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Are there tickets left for Blossom?
there's tickets left Saturday night Blossom.
Saturday night,
So
Blossoms.
tickets,
It's a
I'm all
good
set.
time.
first time in since 2019. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking
Nice.
forward to that. So we appreciate the support the town council gives the library, and it's a great group of trustees there, and the staff has been
Oh, it's
Oh,
just
phenomenal.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
Laura.
Even though you're unopposed, any interesting feedback about involved with your candidacy this time?
I had some good conversations with people as I was collecting signatures. I was chatting with some folks on Main Street, and for the most part, people had really favorable things to say about the library. So I think one person told me they didn't like the new carpeting, but other than that, that was
Wow.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
yeah, good, noted. But yeah,
Oh,
And
that was the day.
Laura, I gotta tell you, and just as somebody who didn't know how much the library does, now I'm a toddler. It is just amazing. It is really. I tell them they should be called community centers
Absolutely.
because
Oh,
the
sure.
library, like the reading part, is almost secondary to everything else you
Yeah.
do. But congratulations, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Where's Adam Rogers? I mean, I think that is really the question on WCAT tonight.
Yeah,
is
no.
why isn't he
It was
down?
Clearly
kind
on
of a-
Anthony's mind.
It was a last minute a request. It's a little funny when you're kind of running unopposed. Like
I'm waiting for him to text me.
Right.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him I said hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you
This
so
is great.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
thank
for
you for
coming
running
out.
too.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks
And
for
we'll
having
see you
me.
at Blossoms.
Yes, see you
That's right.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, we've got results from the other contested race, school committee results. Newcomer Peter Davis, 1,736, followed by Kevin Piscadlo, 1,626, and Alex McCarowitz came back to me this time, 840. Interesting. Yeah.
We have Alex here.
Yeah, we have Alex here. Alex, come on down. And thank you for coming down.
The price is right. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
Adam's
yeah.
home sleeping, like you know that. he's clearly in that already.
Well, all right, not the results you wanted.
not the results I wanted, but
Right.
not surprised at the same time.
But you ran.
No, but great,
Yeah.
you ran.
But
And
you
you know
ran.
what? My goal was to not get less than last year. So I feel like that was a good
That's a good
goal.
goal.
And
Yeah.
we definitely got more
Good.
than last year.
Nice.
And you just
Nice.
ran it.
You,
It's,
you gotta have a good
Yeah.
outlook
You
about
step
it. I
up.
mean,
Yeah.
what can you do?
No.
It is
Right. You threw your hat in the ring. I know that's a corny expression, but
twice.
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, yeah. So, tell us an interesting story out on the campaign trail.
Oh, good Lord.
Did you run into some real nuts?
No, everybody in this town is sane and wonderful.
No sense in yeah, no
Everyone's
sense in
fine.
any future candidacy. Huh?
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing that I wasn't surprised about because I was ready from it from last year was the backlash that you just get in politics in general. I just happen to be that candidate that always gets it. But a funny story. So I may or may not have had a megaphone. Not that I need one or anything. But on Thursday we did a standout down at the Raw Dam Park. And my little 4-year-old was marching up and down the street on the megaphone going, "Vote for my mommy." And
It was so
thought
cute. I came by twice. It was so cute. It was
Yeah,
so cute.
if Lawson ran, he would have won.
Yeah.
He that kid's still hard. He definitely
Yeah.
does. But you know, it is what it is. I got to meet a lot of great people. You know, I had a ton of support this year, which was outstanding. I mean, there were 7 candidates, but you know, it was a great time, and I got out there. I got my message out, and what can you do?
Good. No,
You know,
it's,
maybe next year.
yeah, it's to be admired. Honestly,
Thank
you
you.
know, you're doing it. You're not just sitting around
For
complaining.
your
You're
kids
saying,
to see
yeah,
that. For
Yeah.
your kids
Yeah.
to step up.
You know, they're
for
watching
them.
it right now. So hi
Yeah.
guys.
There you go.
They should be really proud of you.
yeah.
I'm sure
they should
Lawson's
be.
walking with that
Yeah.
megaphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming
I
down.
mean,
Yeah.
I had 2 great competitors. So
Yeah, it's always admirable when somebody doesn't prevail and they come down and share thoughts. It's great. It really
Thumbs
is.
up,
Yeah,
exactly.
thank
yeah,
you guys.
exactly.
We'll have a fun night. And Adam so is not coming.
Oh,
down.
he already texted
Did
me.
he? And he was like, "Anthony, stop calling me out.
He literally texted me, "Don't make me come down there."
Adam, come down."
Look into the camera.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
guys.
You too.
All right, let's go back to the town council race. Can we look at those numbers again? Yeah. All right, Ann, your thoughts?
I'm not surprised. I think, you know, if we look at the numbers, there might have been some bulleting done for Mr. Dombrowski. Maybe, you think? Some,
Well, it has
a few
to be. I
bullets.
mean,
It has
you
to
have
be.
to be.
Has
I mean,
to
it would
be.
be- it would
I
be
think there's
fun.
some bulleting for Ed, which I get. But Ed, as always, ran such a smart and thoughtful, and he's out there. He asks for your vote, and people want that. People want that to. They want to be asked. Maureen also ran an informational campaign. She explained why she can best serve this town. And I think what was really interesting is sometimes you have candidates run a little closer together than others that run very singularly. And I think it was really nice for people to see Maureen and Ed be collaborative on this campaign
Yes.
at
Yeah.
times.
Yes.
And I think people like to see that. And it seemed to be a civil campaign for the most part.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think they have, even if you disagree with some of the votes, you disagree with some of the stance of the candidates, you cannot doubt that both Maureen and Ed are hardworking. They
Yes.
are thoughtful. They're not just showing up. So I that comes through.
Both very well respected in town. I think
Very
that's
well respected.
And I think the first time they ran was actually probably the first election I voted in as a Wakefield resident. And it's interesting for me to see this 6 years later.
Yeah.
You know, them still being a part in being leaders in town. So.
I always think of that election as a turning point in the sense of when a new generation of leadership
Yes.
kind of stepped up.
Yeah.
And I think what we talked about before is true now. I mean, I think there is progress in Wakefield in the sense that you have Ed Dombrowski and Marion Butt, who ideologically opposite sides,
And not from Wakefield.
not from
Right?
Wakefield
That's nice.
originally.
And it's what
I mean,
Ann
from
said,
Linfield and I mean,
Still not Wakefield.
Ed's
From New
partner
York.
is
I think he's
Glenn
Ed's
Kurt.
from Latham, New York,
He's
the
from New
town
York,
right
yeah.
next to
Yeah, but
Schenectady, New
his
York,
his
where I'm from, and
partner
I'd like
is
to
like
point that out.
Wakefield royalty. So
He grew up in Latham,
yeah, but
the
it's
Tri-City area, okay?
Yeah, but
Ed and I
Right.
represent the
Yeah, but
Tri-City area here in
yeah, but
town.
that's not something to be proud
and
of.
Linfield is
Yes, it
miles
is.
away from
Yes,
Wakefield.
it is.
I'm
But it's
teasing,
what
by
it's,
the
I'm
way.
echoing what Ann said and what we said earlier. It was so refreshing to see them.
Yeah.
You know, they disagree in a sort of like a debate way.
Yes.
Not
Yep.
these personal
Not a
attacks
personal
and all
attack,
that.
yeah, civility.
You know, I think people are just getting sick of that, and since all politics is local, I'm glad that
Right.
that it worked out that way. You know what I mean? It really is.
Wakefield is well served by that.
Yeah,
that result
exactly.
right there.
And you're right. Both of them will listen to points of view that aren't necessarily in their wheelhouse. We can put it that way. You know what I
Correct.
mean?
Which is great.
All right. Come on down. You know, Dr. Piscadlo.
Do you
God.
you have your.
Yes.
I read your resume. I'm like, stop it.
stop.
Well, really, just stop being so smart, will you?
Stop.
God's
you,
sake.
though.
Who did you quote? Was it Socrates? The
That
other
was
day?
Voltaire, but
Oh, it was Voltaire. Oh, French, Greek, who knew?
Right.
You just said that so snotty. I just
No,
loved
no.
it.
You
Right.
know when they talk about liberal elitist?
Yeah. We got a high-powered one. It's
No,
great.
no,
yeah.
no.
Oh, stop.
it's too many philosophy courses.
I'm an unabashed Piscadlo fan from the get-go, and I always say it's like, why do you do this?
But
Why do you do this? I mean, you're like overqualified.
Yeah.
no. there's
After
no
the
such
debate,
thing.
first thing I said after the debate, I walked up, I said, it was Voltaire. I said, you just quoted Voltaire. Oh, you're smarty pants, aren't you? It's like, oh my God. Okay.
Well, thank you.
So the question is why?
Yeah, I mean,
Why,
I think,
of all people, do you do this?
well, I mean, we all do. I mean, I think that there's just a need to, obviously step forward if you can and you have the time and, the abilities and the willingness to do it. But, I love this town and I love this school system, and I just feel like I owe so much to it that I'm very much a product of this place, and certainly a benefit of the people that served in these sorts of roles before me, the faculty and staff who mentored me throughout, my life here, and you got to pay it forward if you can, and I think that's something I learned here, and just will continue to do it for as long as I can, or as long as people want me to, and just really looking forward to the next term. So
I'm
there's a lot
kind of
good
relieved.
stuff.
I have to tell you, we were texting the other day, and I said, I just hope people don't take Kevin for granted.
Yeah.
You're not a grenade tosser, and you're
No,
not
no.
doing this, and you're not, I mean, you ran a campaign and like that, but you're focused on what needs to be done as a school committee person. And oh, that was close. And so honestly, I thought, I hope people don't take Kevin for granted. It's and I texted Ann the other day. I'm like,
sometimes.
geez, we got to do something here.
People
so.
think you're fine. If you're the incumbent and you're strong,
Right,
they
right.
think, oh, he's going to be fine, she's going to be fine, and that can get dangerous sometimes.
Absolutely.
Is it exciting thinking about moving forward with the shackles of COVID behind?
Hopefully, right?
Well,
was
I mean, I
talking-
still think I think it is for the most part.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think the
absolutely.
most exciting thing is I think there's just so many good things happening. I think in our town, in our community, and certainly within the schools. And when I had run 2 years ago, it was really just out. COVID was happening, and I felt like there was so much turnover going on. I'll do 2 years, but there's just so many great things happening that I just couldn't stop.
great.
Certainly if allowed to continue, and I think between new schools, and administration, our faculty and staff that are working really hard. And I just think there's so many great things happening here in this community that, if I wanted to continue to be a part of it, if I could. So didn't anticipate it, but definitely.
Can I emphasize? So when we started the show, we were talking about the two different worlds we somewhat grew up in, and I think, Kevin, on your first time, we were basically, it almost felt like crisis mode after crisis mode after crisis. Who are we cutting? I mean, school budgets were getting voted down left and right.
Right.
Now it's a different, almost 180-degree shift. How do you feel on that? What's it like being on the school committee then, being compared on the school committee now?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a great question because
Thank you.
it's so different in so many different ways because you're different yourself. You know, I'm that much older than when we were serving back then. The
Oh,
issues.
you were 14, right?
It was close, right?
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
The
it was-
Doogie Howser.
He had a lot more
The
hair
Doogie
and-
Howser of
Yeah.
the school board.
But no, I mean, the people were different, the personalities are different, the issues you're dealing with are different, and you're right. It was the height of some really significant financial constraints and some really big challenges, and I felt like we were just trying to tread water. I think at that point, where now I think we have turned that corner, and I think there's just so many good things happening, and a very different committee, just made up of different personalities and different things. And again, I'm coming at it from a slightly different place. My lenses are slightly different, being a little older and having experienced what I've experienced and things like that. So in some ways it's very familiar, but in some ways it's totally different. And I think that's what makes it possible to want to continue to do it into a fourth term.
You got to have a good FinCom school.
No,
No, I do. I want to.
Ray's got to have a good FinCom school.
you can see all the FinCom school committee debate on YouTube. That's always the big hot contested thing.
You think? Yeah.
I know. I know we have other people going, but I do want to make one comment. When you walked in, I immediately thought of Bill Chetwin.
Yes.
And to people who don't, Bill served on the school committee with both me and Kevin, and he absolutely adored Kevin and myself, and the three of us hung out quite a bit. And I just want to say, I think he would be, I don't mean to speak for him, but I guess I will. I think if he's watching tonight, he'd be very, very, very proud of you, Kevin. And I think
you.
he'd fit
Oh,
those
that was
bills
very
in.
nice.
That is really nice, and his name did come up today because I was talking about him, and it was kind of a motley crew, the three of us, that kind of formed, I think, a really good bond, and I think worked well together. And thank you, that means a lot. So
No,
I
it's,
appreciate it.
Let me ask you this. The big thing was getting the school passed, or getting the whole thing.
Yeah.
But now, I that was sort of a single issue to focus on, funding for the school. Now, the building, the transition, that's multifaceted. I mean,
Absolutely.
well, yeah, that's got to be some. I think that's probably more challenging than the yes/no vote. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what do you think?
It's certainly different. I think you transition into a slightly different part of the process. But some of it's the fun stuff, the deeper designs, what are some of these spaces going to look like? What is the setup of different things? But at the same time, also like some of the logistics, I think, is particularly the administration is going to have to deal with as we get closer and closer. We were talking earlier about maybe a mid-year move in as opposed to nice and smooth over summer or something like that. But we have I think just incredible people on our permanent building committee, on the school building committee, and certainly the leadership within the schools, that I think it's going to be a wonderful process, and I definitely wanted to continue to be a part of that. So that was a driving force as well.
Wow. Okay. Hey, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
As
Congratulations.
always,
Appreciate
Awesome job.
I'm not going to be neutral in this here, but I'm so glad you got in. I really,
Very lucky to have you.
right.
Well, thank you all. and
You're
thank you.
overqualified in your
No, get out of here.
challenge here. And God, how did I miss Voltaire? Now you got me for a while. I have to come up with something.
Bill, should I?
Yeah, before we thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're letting you go now, and you can take your nameplate, but you can't keep the little thing it's in. Before we talk to, we got some more candidates here. We're gonna get our Steve Kornacki figure up at the. You can take the microphone with you if it works.
Yeah. Well, do we know who won for constable? I was going to ask.
I don't have any constable numbers, but does your mic work? Can
Well,
we
I was
find-
going to say,
does-
do you
does
want me to get
Anthony's
up so
mic
Ed and
work?
Maureen can both sit at the same time?
No. We need you to go through this up here. Hey, I run the show here. You're really taking over.
Assistant producer.
We need you to go through. Where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are, don't you?
I-
Because you're not new. You're from here. So we'd like you to take a run through on those. What's your thoughts on it?
5 and 6 on West Side.
Yeah.
Well, because you live there, you
'Cause I
know
live
that.
there.
Yeah, how to go.
Yeah.
I never know. I walk in every time. I said to Nancy on the way in today, we're 4, right? Yeah.
So you want me to go through the numbers that
Yeah, but you got to stand over there. Remember the
Oh, yeah,
camera?
they
You're
told me
supposed to
that.
stand over there. Yeah. So what do you think of these numbers in terms of neighborhood breakdown?
Yeah, I love how they act like, we're waiting for the votes to come here. There's not even a touch screen by I'm just randomly putting my fingers on the screen here. No, obviously very impressive results, both for especially for Ed and Maureen. And I think it goes to what we talked before. I mean, you're looking in every single precinct. I'm just trying to see if Chris didn't beat the incumbents in any
7.
precinct.
No.
No, not even
No.
in 7.
But his most votes are in 7. Yeah.
It is, but I think that's his neighborhood. But really, I think this goes back to what we spoke about earlier, which is when you don't see a lot of people running, there's usually a happiness with the status quo. Doesn't mean things are perfect. Doesn't mean there aren't things we have to work on as a community. But
I think you need to back up just a little bit. There you go. Thanks. That helps, huh?
Yeah, it does.
So
But for the most part, Maureen and Ed had a clean sweep here, and I do think it speaks to, again, the fact you have two people from ideologically opposite camps, but well respected in the community. And again, I talk about this before. I just can't imagine when I was running at 19. Again, the idea of two people who weren't originally from Wakefield, even though, again, Maureen's from Linfield. And again, I don't know if you heard me, you married Wakefield royalty, so I'm counting you as Wakefield. But, it's just,
Yeah.
I hear them in the background.
Yeah. Hey,
but,
Ed pulled a big vote in 7 there. Look at that. That's
356.
That's like
I don't know what you guys want me to say here. They won in every district.
We brought you for your insight.
Yeah, there's no insight here. They won in every precinct.
Oh, how about down below?
No, down below, same. Actually, what's interesting here is Pete Davis. So we'll go to the school committee. Pete Davis, who is the newer member, topped the ticket. And let's see, West Side, 45, Greenwood. I mean, nearly, with the exception of Precinct 6, he topped the ticket. Now, Pete ran, to a certain extent, back on that high school, he was one of the leaders of the Wakefield High School campaign and rebuilding it. And I think this kind of reinforces that idea that people want to see the direction we're going in terms of more education funding, building out those schools. And the fact of the matter is, Pete Davis was tied very much to building that new high school, and he topped the ticket.
He also ran a really good campaign. He was visible. He was out there.
And a parent of young kids in the school system, so I think is on either a PTO or very involved, so knows a lot of parents.
Yeah, but
who trust him.
So was Alex, but I know Alex, she came from the
Yeah.
right. She had some very radical views and didn't, again, to a certain extent, I'm trying to see if she won in any precinct. And again, kudos to anybody who runs, but I think, Pete and Kevin dominated in every district. So, so guys, I'm sorry I don't have any analysis. There's nothing really to analyze here.
Where's the 7th? Where's the 7th?
What, the West Side? Is 7 West Side? No, 7 is
5 and 6 are West Side.
5 and 6 are West Side. 7's kind of like Dolbear.
Dolbear.
Yeah, Dolbear.
Dolbear.
That's what I was saying, FYI, without the help.
But they turned out in the 7th. Look at that.
Well, you have a lot of people who. No, because does Kevin lives in 7? I think Carino lives in
Pete
7.
lives in 7.
Yeah.
Ed lives by downtown. Maureen's Greenwood. I don't know where Pete lives.
I think he's a Dolbear.
Is he?
I think he's a Dolbear dad.
So I'm sorry. I wish there was something more I could say, but it's not. I mean, I hate to say it's a boring night.
Well, don't say that. That's not going to help our ratings.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Yeah, who's
Okay.
my mom? Hey, mom.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Maureen. Yeah. No.
I mean, no, because they both can come. I mean, I don't have. Do you want to do one at a time or?
Yeah, let's do one at a time. Yeah. What are you in a big hurry?
No, I think it's more fun.
Oh, it'll be more fun. All right, we're gonna bring them both up at the same time. Oh, okay. I defer to Ann. So we have an extra.
No,
Anthony,
no.
you can get.
Maureen.
Anthony, you can get. Yeah, Maureen,
Maureen,
come on up. Ed, come on up. We'll come up at the
Ed,
same time.
No, we're going to do. Looks like we want to do it singly.
Ed, come on up. You're not in charge of the show. Get up here. You're not sworn in yet, so here we go. Yeah, come on.
Fine,
right
they're
here.
kicking me out.
Yeah.
We got
There's another. Where's the other mic? Where's the other mic?
have your place?
Yeah, we got enough mics. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna give Anthony a chair. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah. We were talking about the collaborative effort, So now we're going to have a collaborative interview, okay?
That's
That'll do
fine,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've
You're
worked
not,
together for 6 years.
You're not mad.
so-
Don't worry. You'll start talking. You'll get your attention. Don't worry here.
Wait, you're gonna put me over there? What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm moving to the
All
table.
right. We're going to start. Maureen, congratulations.
Thank you.
You had a run this time, didn't you?
Thank you. We had,
Yeah.
it was like 6 years ago without all
Yeah.
the rain.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ed, congratulations.
Thank you.
You ran a typical Ed, and I mean that, admirably, a typical Ed Dombrowski campaign. It was great. Why again? Why do it again?
Yeah, so
Don't give me serve the community. Come on, let's
no,
dig down.
I'm really proud of the work that we've done for the last 6 years, and we're headed in the right direction. And we renewed our town administrator's contract last month for 3 more
Okay,
years.
the second mention of Mayo on this show, really.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot still left to accomplish when I look at all that we've done, and Anne was part of that. Everyone here is a part of it, but there's more I still want to do. And I was door knocking yesterday and met this couple who had moved to town from North Andover 3 years ago. And he was like, what do you still want to do? And I started listing, when I was growing up in Linfield, as Anthony mentioned, but my mom used to push me in a stroller around the lake, and I was part of the Wakefield YMCA swim team. But the lake was swimmable. Like, I want to make the lake swimmable again. I want to make a full path. That's our vision.
Full path, yeah.
A full path.
Yeah.
I want to clean up the lake. We just approved this new high school. I want to see it completed on budget and under budget and on time. Like, there's still things that we still want to do. Use all of our ARPA funds. There's going to be millions of dollars available to us on this climate change infrastructure bill. We can do transformative things in the next couple of years, and I want to be a part of that. I have a great team. We have a great team. The town council has a team mentality. I said all along since I pulled papers in January that we've got 7 members that are respectful and come prepared, even though we don't always agree. And I'm really excited to work with this team going forward.
That does come across. That really does come across.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that it's civil debate. All right. Why do it again, other than you're a political animal?
Well, first off, thank you for having me, and thank you to WCIT for hosting this tonight. I think the short answer is there's just more work to be done. There are a lot of initiatives that I have been a part of or led over my tenure that I want to see through to completion. One of the obvious ones is the downtown revitalization project. I think if you look at Albion Street between North Ave and Main, that's phase 1 of that, if you will. And that's a good indication of what opportunities we have looking from the lake all the way down to the junction, and down Water Street as well towards Shaw's. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. And I'm also concerned about the financial direction of our town. We're in very good financial standing right now, but we have a lot of financial obligations that are being placed on our taxpayers in the coming years. I respect and understand and support the idea of a new high school, but I do think that we have to be mindful of the financial realities and the burden that places on our taxpayers. And in the years to come, we have to be incredibly thoughtful financial stewards of those tax dollars, because people are going to have a harder time in this town to be able to maintain the same quality of life that they have today.
That sounds like an opening for
Yeah.
Mr. FinCom here. What do you got for him? Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. Obviously, as a member of FinCom, it's important to, to be prudent with respect to expenditure of funds. And, I think that all of the candidates throughout this cycle have spoken to that. Even the school committee candidates are talking about, how they need to be more prudent in budgeting, because that's the largest part of the impact on the tax levy. So Ed is right. I mean, I think that we just have to be mindful going forward, given that this project was significant. I mean, it will be significant. It's significant spending, so.
I just want to jump in, and this is a compliment to both of you on, I do have to go back to the decorum, because, and I do think it was a positive generational shift. I think about when you guys were in, because Bill, you may remember it. I mean, remember when they used to call school committee meetings like Tuesday night fights, and
Yeah.
town council meetings? I mean, people would
I
not.
remember a debate where I literally had to admonish people to like stop, just stop. We're having a debate here.
Well, no, and I think everybody knows ideologically, Maureen and Ed may not agree, but again, how you represent yourselves, how you approach the debate, how you have discussions, it just reflects on the town so well. So,
If I could just speak to the point of ideology, because I think it's important. I don't think there's a place for partisanship in local politics. And I've been really troubled by the fact that in recent election cycles at the municipal level, that party has taken a more prominent role in the campaigning. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. We are not Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Libertarians, Socialists. We are all Wakefieldians. And that is what people are looking for. There's a reason that there's not a letter, an R or a D or an I after our names on the ballot. It's because political parties should not factor in to your decision making. You should look at the candidate and determine, is this person going to meet the needs of our community and do the best to represent all of our residents? And so, I take issue with the idea of framing this as some sort of ideology, difference.
I think ideology is different from party.
That's what I was thinking.
No,
too,
no,
yeah.
no. I think where
perspective.
somebody stands on an issue, it
Is
does
where they
not
stand.
necessarily pigeonhole them in that category.
I
you're
think,
you're all over the place, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
I do. But you and I discuss this all the time. We discuss this. He's bringing up an issue that we discuss constantly. So, on live TV, he wants to get a little digging. I think that.
Yes, you did. It's so much fun.
I think that the party name is not the issue. It's where somebody stands on an issue. I
But-
really
but
do.
I
mean,
think
that's
that-
why I
but
think,
throughout the campaign, it kept being framed as, oh, there's a Republican versus a Democrat running, and I've heard that from too many people.
Oh, see, yeah, yeah.
And that is something, and I know for a fact that is how some of the campaigning went on, and there's not a place for that.
All right, you won.
In local politics.
all right, you won.
No,
I'm kidding.
But
Come on.
what I'm trying to say is that I think that the people of our community deserve better than partisanship, and I think ideology and partisanship may often go hand in hand. And I don't want to be so simple as to say it's a distinction without a difference, because there is a difference. But fundamentally, when you're talking about a political ideology, you're normally talking about a party ideology, right? And-
I think it depends on each issue. Okay, now, best story in the
Bill,
campaign.
we're finally having something entertaining, and now you're gonna go to. Fine, all right.
Well,
Lawn-
if
yard
you
signs.
if you don't, Ed could go on for 20 minutes.
I know,
talk
but I had
lot.
a great
He could go on-
response. I was
even
ready
had-
to go.
We
Ed.
could bring Chines down if we wanted to be here till 11. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for getting that, Maureen. Really. And so, listen, best story during the campaign. Was it knocking on doors? Was it at a rally? Was it at something,
Yeah, I think all of it. Campaigning.
No,
was
no, no,
great.
no, no.
I
Best story.
Best story. I was not prepared for that.
Well, there you go. Thinking on your feet.
Yeah, I hit a lot of doors. I knocked on over, me and my team probably knocked on over 2,000 doors. We made a lot of phone calls. Best story.
Yeah. Did you get some
Or
whack
something
job
that
answering the
stands
door?
out,
Like,
you know?
No, I had really great interactions at the door. People generally seemed happy with how things are going in town, which I think
Nice.
is
Yeah.
a big change over 6
Yeah.
years, right?
All
They're
right,
happy.
outside of partisanship versus ideology, best campaign story. You knock on some doors, you run into some whack job who thought, what are you doing? Who are you? Something good, Ed. Come on.
Sure. I did.
Oh, good.
No, I did not. Everyone I ran into was great. I was really impressed by how informed the people whose doors I knocked on were on the issues. They were tuned in, which I think is important. I think that speaks to the caliber of the Wakefield voter. People who turn out for these elections know who they're voting for and what they're voting on.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, and I think that's a real distinction at the local level. I can recall one instance where I had been walking to a door, and in fairness, the pathway looked to be fairly clear. It looked new-ish. But then I ended up walking on what I guess was recently poured cement, only to then hit a Ring doorbell, to then have the woman in a not so friendly tone say, "What are you doing?" That was just recently laid. And so I quickly left that sidewalk, but the walkway. Suffice it to say, I don't think that her vote is reflected in my vote. I think that's a pretty safe
on the
bet.
way out, did you carve your initials? Ed was here.
Actually, Bill, I carved yours.
Oh, all right. Thank you. All right. Where's your party? I know. I'm telling the general public.
Well, we found out my party, the place that it was supposed to be, closes in 4 minutes. So
Oh.
we will be going to a private residence. So.
Oh.
Public kitchen.
Public kitchen. Come
Open-
on,
open
baby.
to the
Until you-
public.
Yeah, right. I was trying to get them to combine their party so we could just go to one place. That was Ann's idea. And so, all right. Thank
Hey,
you.
so 6
Use the control
room.
walk
into a room.
I know. What'd you say?
Wow, 6. Wow.
that.
6
Yeah,
lawyers
I was
walk.
thinking-
Crazy.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
many
Here
of
we
us.
go again. Right. Here we go.
Which
Yeah.
I really think adds to what Anthony was talking about, just the level of respect and
Yeah.
kind of professionalism that, we're seeing in town, which I think is just a positive. There are no more, fist fights outside of restaurants after meetings like there used to be in Anthony's days.
It's kind of fun occasionally to watch it, not to
It
be. a
was,
part of it. I remember a table getting thrown.
You are trouble.
I remember a lot of
Harrington's
Corona
fault.
lights being drunk by certain elected officials,
I
and
got scooted right out of there.
it was it's
baby.
but it's better, and I think to the point even now. I mean, we look at some of the stuff that's presumed. I mean, God, it used to be very negative. It used to be very negative.
Well,
And
it
I
was
think
very personal.
it was very personal. Yeah, that's a much better way to put it in.
Yeah.
So you look like you're about to say something. So
It's not easy to cut you off. Biggest issue with town meeting. What do you think is going to be the?
that we should get rid of town meeting.
Yeah, we will return to the cozy confines of the Galvin instead of the.
I hope we can confine it to 2 days.
Anything on the warrant you think is going to be?
No, I think everything will be presented. I think we're going to have good discussion and debate, and we're a town meeting form of government, so everyone, it's one voter, one vote.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll have some really great conversations.
Anything on the warrant you think is coming up?
I don't know anything in particular. I think there will be, starting now and continue to be, an undercurrent of concern about where our spending is at and making sure that we have sustainable budgeting going forward. I think that this current proposed budget is thoughtful. I think that the school budget will always be a source of a discussion, just because it represents such a large portion. That is about 50.
So you're saying FinCom has done a good job this year?
Well,
We try.
I think FinCom always does a good job, and I like the fact that we have that check and balance between what we're proposing as a council and FinCom.
Yeah.
But I do think, and that was, if there was one theme that came out aside from obviously improving our roads, which is a work in progress for our town, I think it's the concern about affordability, and especially those on fixed incomes, being able to figure out how they can live here in the next several years. And I spoke to one woman today who's talking about some plans, depending on what her tax bill looks like, whether she can continue to live in her home or will have to move elsewhere. So I think that's going to be an undercurrent obviously Springtown meeting we're talking about the fiscal year budget. I think that's going to be a concern for a lot of residents, and we'll probably see that play out to some extent in this town meeting, but I think in the next several, that'll continue to be a concern when we talk about any sort of expenditure.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one quick question. The pit hours, what's the story with those pit hours?
So,
I'm kidding.
if I could give a plug, though, it's every Wednesday, every Saturday, every second and fourth Sunday.
All right. Those pit hours. Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
guys.
WH.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
it's a good job. We're gonna bring Pete Davis down, who a newcomer who pulled in a big vote. Okay, they gotta move it. Yeah.
Put his.
Pete, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations, yes.
wow. I think your enthusiasm came across during your campaign. I mean, I know it did at the debate, but I just think, everything you wrote, everything I heard about you, and that kind of stuff. So congratulations, good job.
I appreciate
Good job. Yeah. So
How was
why?
it campaigning?
Why?
Oh, why? Sorry.
Why?
I mean, why? I love Wakefield and I love our schools. And if it wasn't apparent from what I wrote, our schools have done a lot for my kids. And I've tried to do everything I can do since my kids have been in school to give back to the schools that my kids have been a part of. And this is just another way to give back. And frankly, I'm just honored for the opportunity to do so. So I appreciate everyone who came out to vote. And, sorry, I'm speechless. Go ahead, Anthony.
Pete, I just know
Take it away.
I want to tell you, and I mean this as sincerely. I know I don't know if Marina and Ed or I see Marina, I don't know if Ed left, but I think the best part of what we do, of what all of us have done, or why people should get involved, is that you can point to stuff when you get involved in local politics and local town stuff and say, because of me, X happened. Because I did A, B occurred. And you get to be a part of that. And it's an amazing experience. And, Pete, I think you're going to serve the town well. And I think one of the reasons that happened was your involvement both in the high school campaign and in fixing the Verizon situation. I don't know if people follow on the Wakefield community group, but Pete, there was Verizon just wasn't working, and Pete led the campaign to fix it, and it now works, and now I have service. So
Kind of
Congrats.
a personal story there, Anthony.
it was on
Okay.
the Wakefield. Sorry, the biggest forum in Wakefield. It was well discussed.
Is what?
It was in the biggest forum in Wakefield, the Wakefield Mass community page.
Oh, I got off of that years ago.
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys are missing out. 10,000
No,
people.
I don't do any of that stuff. If I'm lucky, I can text. Best story during the campaign.
So it was
Some
the-
weird door knocking thing. Come on, don't give us
No,
somebody
so I was
talked
standing
about the
in front of the
committee.
Galvin,
Oh,
and it
good,
was
here
the
we go.
first time I've ever held a sign. And a gentleman walks up to me, and he just starts talking my ear off about his very specific views on issues that have nothing to do with my sign at all. and I won't get into those specific issues, but I'm like, literally, I'm like, I mean, as soon as he left, I looked to the person who's there with me. I'm like, what was that about? Is everyone like this?
Oh, you're about to find out.
And I only
Yeah.
had one
Get
other
ready.
experience like that, but everyone else, I would say, who came to visit was very kind. And,
Yeah.
but that was interesting. That was my first time holding a sign. So.
So as a new member to the school committee, is there a specific issue that you want to focus on during your term?
Yeah, I mean, my first thing would be to figure out the ropes. I mean, obviously, I have a learning curve. I'm coming
Absolutely.
from nowhere. This is not something I've done before. One of the things I ran on is just safety in general, and that's not just making sure our kids go to school and our faculty and they get to come home at the end of the day safely.
Yep.
But also, we've got kids going to school every day and getting bullied, and that type of environment just does not lean itself towards a great experience for those kids. So, obviously, I'm a taxpayer like everyone else here. I've been a homeowner for 24 and a half years. I know what Ed says. I do feel like we've asked a lot of our townspeople for the high school. We've got a school budget that's say $50 million or so. We have to be careful when we ask for money that we've just at least made sure we've done everything possible to reduce the cost to our neighbors. It doesn't mean we're magicians. I mean, we have to educate our kids. And one of the things I spoke about in the paper the other day was just the high cost of special education. I mean, it's critical. We have to take care of these students. But, clearly we need more and more money coming from the Commonwealth to our town and every other town just to help fund this stuff.
Well,
So-
and Pete, you're right. I mean, and so much of this, I know one of my frustrations, especially in public education, it's the idea that you're connecting, people's property taxes to the funding. I mean, to a certain extent, I know this would never change on a school committee level because it's so systematic, but how we fund education at a very basic level is just so unfair to certain taxpayers.
It's true, I agree.
So, Pete, I got to tell you, it's excellent. I'm so happy for you. I'm happy, you on, and congrats, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you look at those numbers. I mean, you for a first timer, you're topping the ticket there. You know, so that's an impressive campaign.
I heard
Which-
from a lot of parents that were so excited about your campaign.
And I definitely felt that enthusiasm. I mean, I heard from a lot of people just saying they came out to vote for me and they were supporting me, and it's definitely appreciated.
Nice. We're going to Public Kitchen, just just in case you want to come
I
down
gotta
for
go
some more.
to my kitchen to get some dinner. I was out there for 13 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
Well, congratulations.
All right,
Really,
I'm going to check
really
in with
well
control room.
deserved.
Are we okay to wrap up? Okay. You might have programming on deck.
Wait, do we know who won the constable race?
No, we don't. We got nothing on the constable.
Lisa Butler won.
Oh, did
Thank
she?
you,
Oh.
Pete Davis.
Piece
I don't know why I
of
said it.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
Lisa
just-
Butler won.
Yeah,
huh?
I don't
That'll
know why
be
your numbers
interesting.
are up
Wait, before if we are going to wrap up, I think we would be doing a disservice to
It's,
WCAT.
908 to 532.
Wow. So WCAT is a nonprofit. It does work with the town, but they rely on contributions. If you like watching this, if you like being able to watch services in St. Florence, St. Joe's, all some Protestant denominations from your home. If you like watching the sports game, see, they knew I was going to make this pitch, so they have the camera on me. If you like that, go on the website, go on Facebook, donate. If you're commenting on Facebook and I'm reading the comments and I'm seeing it, and you do it for whatever reason all the time, donate to WCAT. If you don't, this isn't going to keep going this way. People
Yeah.
are cutting cable.
That's an
they are
issue.
streaming.
That's an issue that's going to
Donate.
come up.
Donate.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this, you got to donate. If you don't donate, this is going to go away, and you don't get to see me. And if you don't get to see me, really, what's it worth?
Yeah, I think financing, CAT's financing is an issue that I think it's sort of, it took backseat to the school and these kinds of things. But I think it's something that I of course.
Well, then, Ryan, kudos to Ryan. By the way, same birthday as me. Me and Ryan, same birthday, same year.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's really interesting, Anthony. So listen, and as always, I mean, I'm not only on the board, but I'm a CAT guy. Every meeting and stuff. They do a fantastic job here. As I say, when you go to another town and you go to visit somebody, turn on the local cable access, and it's just not the same. They do a great job here. There's a lot of enthusiasm. It's very professional. I mean, the show like we have here, I don't know another town that does something like this. So it's really great. All right, Pete, we're kicking you out.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You
Congratulations
did a
again.
great job, and led the ticket. All right, I want to thank you guys. This is a good panel.
Yeah,
This
Bill.
is a good panel.
I got to ask you, we finally had Ed here, finally pushing a debate. We could have a good discussion, and then we had to stop. Come on, man.
That's okay. No, how long Ed would go on forever, and I love him. We talk. Ed and I talk about this all the time. We did 20 minutes on this at the Coffee Connection at the other morning. It's like it's.
Well, I'm known
it's
for my
thing.
brevity, so it wouldn't have went that long.
Yeah, no, we had to, and we were looking at people want to go to sleep at some time. All right, hey, thanks you guys. This was great
Oh,
as
thank you.
always.
It's a pleasure.
As always, yeah. So it's a nice, counselor. It's always good to have FinCom.
I do miss Gerard Lehman. We got to get him back one day.
Yeah, he was interesting. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. So yeah, speaking of FinCom, we have. I tell this story, but when I first, I've been doing this forever, but I remember FinCom when I first came around, it was like, whoa, you had to blow the dust off some people, and it was just. And now we have, now we have.
Oh, it's such a great.
Yeah,
Such a great board.
It's great. We have a real. Oh, it was awful. And then, don't get me going on some of the stories about. For the first 2 years, I was the only one who appointed him, and I thought, probably not a good idea to show up drunk. So I went for your interview. It's just an old story. We won't name any names. But anyway, all right. Thank you very much again, CAT. A phenomenal job. I like the loose format here since we're dealing with who's coming down and numbers and all that kind of stuff. And it's a great job. So remember, town meeting. And we'll do that. So anyway, thank you very much. And good night on behalf of WCAT and everybody, all the candidates who ran. Anybody who throws their hat in the ring is to be admired. Okay. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you all.